Hello. Today, I am going to share some of my journey of what it looks like for me to manage physical fatigue when living with a chronic illness. Hi, it's Sandra, and one of the most valuable things and one of the hardest things for me to embrace about living well with a chronic condition is honoring my body when it comes to energy, stamina, and simply the ability to do the things that need to get done and do the things I want to do. If you live with a chronic or an autoimmune condition, you are likely familiar with fatigue. Fatigue is really different from being tired. When we're tired, periods of rest over time can help to restore and bring us back to our normal levels of energy. But when fatigue is present, it's like you never even start with a full tank of gas. You're running on empty, your engine needs a tune-up, and your tires are losing air. I'm not sure where the car analogy came from, but it does kind of fit. So it can be really frustrating, and it was for many, many years, and sometimes still is an ongoing struggle of filling my plate too full, overextending myself physically, and then paying the price for it with my health and well-being. And in some cases, it means flaring joints. The frustrating part, and when the learning curve came in, is that overextending myself, overdoing it, it actually looks a lot different when you live with rheumatoid arthritis. For me, living well with arthritis has meant coming to terms with the fact that my ability to do things may be different than a fully able-bodied person. And then lovingly accepting and respecting that. This requires knowing, I was going to say knowing my limitations, but I want to reframe that. This requires an awareness to know not what I'm limited by, but what I have the capacity for. There's a difference. When I realize what I actually do have the capacity for, then it's my job to create a beautiful existence around that. Fatigue, mobility issues, chronic pain, not on anyone's wish list, right? I have found that for me, the wisdom of living well with a chronic condition is that I don't wish for a different set of circumstances. I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for living here and now. And I'm also aware that this is also giving me the opportunity to teach me something. And I also strive to make the best of every day. The topic is fatigue, and there are good days, there are bad days, good weeks, and not so much. And it's a given that if your condition is active, fatigue is going to be more of an issue. Learning to create and cultivate and make a life that works with fatigue and keeps it at least somewhat manageable for me has been figuring out what I can do and what is way too much. And this is where you need to be a master of listening to and paying attention to your body, knowing what is going to be too much, and then doing something to ease back before you get into that state where you have overextended yourself physically. I have begun to be better at learning not to push myself and listening to what my body signals on any given day. And sometimes that means a change of plans, and it requires a little bit more flexibility. Another thing that has worked really well for me is designating 2 days per week that I am out running errands and shopping. I've learned to understand and respect the fact that I require rest days in between the times that I am more active. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that I usually do most of, if not all of, the grocery shopping for me and my mom. These are also the days that I make myself available for any other errands or for taking her to appointments, etc. After these outings, I'm exhausted and I need that time to recalibrate and recover physically from it. Wednesdays are usually a flex day. It's the one day of the week that I like to keep open as possible to do me stuff. And it usually includes a solo drive somewhere and a visit to nature. Then, more likely than not, I am not going out on Mondays or Fridays. These are the days that I need to physically rest and recover from the outings and errands that I have done or that I'm about to do. Seriously, that is the pattern. And if I'm not able to stick with it, that's when I start to notice it creeping up. This has evolved over time, and it's become an important component of how I can support my wellness. Some of the other things that I do to help with fatigue, well, I go to bed early. I take naps when I feel tired. I eat well. I take really good supplements and meditation. And if you are doing meditation and you happen to fall asleep, that's okay. I would suggest that probably if you continue on with it, you won't always fall asleep, but falling asleep's a-okay, just doing the practice of meditation. Let's learn to get along better with fatigue. Think of fatigue as a protection mechanism within the way that you're designed, the way that you're wired. And if you are feeling fatigue, maybe it is a signal or a sign to slow down. What instead of being in that hard edge way of doing things and getting things done and pushing through and being busy, what if we softened our approach and looked at this as a sacred journey that we're on? And what if we became more guided by intuition than ambition? When we listen to what our bodies are telling us, it is a way to honor who we are. I have reframed the frustration of not knowing what my body is going to be feeling on any given day to one of intrigue. What is my body telling me today? Sometimes slowing down is a way to speed up healing and recovery. Being the loving caretaker of all that is you and listening to your innate knowing of what you need is what you need. What do you think? Is listening to, leaning into, and listening to your fatigue and creating a plan around that something you could consider doing? Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I would love to hear how you are managing your fatigue living with a chronic illness.